Hello, this is Rémi no friend, and welcome to this new video. So this morning I woke up, I went on a run, yes, 6:30, who am I? And I came back and I was like, I really am in the mood to like reorganize my tarot storage, and I started pulling out, my box, my box of decks that lives like in an inconspicuous shoebox under my sofa, like hidden like a secret. And because it is a secret for me, even though I'm on the internet, but I pulled it out and I was like, all right, I feel like, it needs a new home. It doesn't feel quite right. And I figured it would be nice to do it together, actually, because it made me think of a topic that I always want to talk about, but I never know exactly what angle to come at it. And that topic is tarot and fear. So many types of fears. And hopefully that is a good mashup of two things to do at once. But can I organize my decks, speak about this topic, and speak to a camera about it? Like think about the topic and talk to a camera. We'll see. But yeah, so for now, first of all, I currently have my decks in two separate boxes, okay? So I have this box, which houses usually I just put this here, but my oracles do not live together with my tarot because I just haven't gotten into the habit, I guess, of using oracle as much. So it didn't make sense to put them together. And then I have my box of the decks I'm always pulling out, and they happen to be in pouches, so my RWS, Thoth, Triomphe de la Luna, and my Spanish tarot. And yes, I also have two other decks that are not in the box because they're always on my table, which is Ritual Tarot, Tarot d'Incarnation, So I happen to have two categories, I guess, the decks that if they were too far away, stored too far away, it would just be inconvenient. And then the decks that it's totally fine for them to be not super far away, but stored comfortably because they're kind of more of a moment in time deck. So I have this piece of furniture here. It's amazing. I found it on Marketplace 2 summers ago, I think. Moving weekend in Canada, in Quebec only, I think. 1st of July is the best time to find secondhand furniture, because either people put it on the street because they just have to move and they don't have time to sell stuff or anything, or they sell it at extremely cheap prices on Marketplace because they just need to get it off their hands. Yeah, so best time to find really good deals. This one's from, I think, from the 60s. It's entirely made of wood, all the there's no metal mechanism, and it's my pride and joy. And I think the woman who gave it to me, who sold it to me, she said that it's she got it from a convent that was closing. Amazing. Amazing. So wouldn't it be actually amazing to put my decks in there? Just for the fact that I love opening this and closing this, and that would just be part of the fun. Anyways, to always be going in and out of the cupboard, Let me just wipe this. So the reason why I had, my decks hidden, okay, is because I don't want like someone coming in my house and then just seeing them, and then that's starting a whole thing. I don't want to have to deal with explaining myself or like kind of like negotiating my piece. And I guess the cost of that is that I do have to kind of put my decks in a kind of discreet place. And so the way I'm thinking about doing it here is to like place them at the back of the cupboard, and then putting the books I had there already just like in a kind of wall. Yeah, I mean, I'm showing my secret tarot spot on the internet, but the fact is that if anybody who I don't want to find my decks finds this video, it's too late. So it's okay. So yeah, I'm thinking of just putting all of my books like this and then my decks at the back, because first of all, I would get the joy of like sliding my cupboard open, and then I would get the joy of just like having this like secret cupboard, secret bookshelf, like, right? Better than a box under the couch. Okay. Living in secret in your own house. But it's okay. It's fine. It's okay for now. So I think that on this side, I want to put like the decks that I don't reach for all of the time. Okay, so I'm just gonna place these as I talk. Okay. Tarot and fear. Tarot and fear. As you can tell, even if I'm not personally afraid of tarot, okay, I'm not afraid of the cards, I'm not afraid of the devil card or the death card, or I'm not afraid that I'm going to like summon something that I do not want to summon, okay? I do not have those fears. However, fear is undeniably entangled with my relationship, with my relationship with tarot. It's undeniable. I'm literally hiding my decks out of, I don't like to say that it's fear, but gotta be honest, it is fear. It's the fear of being discovered and having to, you know, like defend myself. Also, coming from I come from a religious background, like I'm Muslim, and for the longest time, like I only knew tarot as something that was very forbidden. So I guess for some context, like in Islam, the thing about tarot is really just the divination thing. So the thing with Islam is like, you're not supposed to place anything between yourself and God. So that's why it's kind of funny when people compare priests to imams. It's not the same, because the imam is kind of just like a leader, like someone who knows a lot. There's somebody who has a lot of knowledge, but they are not like a link between you and God. You do not have to go through them to connect with God. In fact, the very idea of putting anything in between you and God is the extremely blasphemous thing. And the idea of tarot being like haram or like the worst thing ever is that it's like it's considered what we call shirk, which is like linking anything to God as equally powerful or more powerful or a way to connect with the unseen, the occult, which is, it's not that it doesn't exist, it's not that it's like refuted as like inherently evil. That's not really where it comes from, because I do hear that like that's kind of the Christian version of like view of it. Like, yeah, some people like do see it as evil, but that's not really what it is. It's not necessarily about it being like evil or of the devil. It's mostly that like in Islam we consider that like there are other entities. There's so much we don't know, and all of it answers to God, and they're not necessarily supposed to communicate with us, and we are not supposed to communicate with them like intentionally, because we're not supposed to need to. We can just communicate with God right away, like directly. You can just ask anything. So that's the idea that is like that's the idea behind why tarot is like not something that you're supposed to do. Now, I'm not really interested in divining anything. So I'm just trying to explain, like where I come from. I'm not trying to judge anybody. That's really not how I see the world. I have faith, and I considered my faith to be exactly what it is, faith, because we do not know. If we knew everything, we would not call it faith, we would call it fact, okay? So just please, like, I do expect people to be respectful, and I am respectful of everyone's beliefs. I'm just trying to explain the background of like where I come from when it comes to tarot. And yeah, so I am not trying to divine anything. I do not really have an interest in that. I'm not like holding back like super hard on divining. Like it's not like I really want to do actual divination, and I wish I could, but I can't because I'm afraid of like being judged by God. Like that's not where I am. I was interested in tarot because I realized that, because I suddenly saw it as such a powerful tool to access not only my subconscious, but also kind of a collective understanding of the world, as that keeps evolving. Like I guess it's very Jungian, and I really relate to that. I feel like symbolism is inherent to humanity. It's like we cannot help but make symbols. Yeah, you can choose whether to engage with certain symbols, but also certain other symbols, like you inherently are engaging with them all the time. And these have meaning, and they carry meaning through time. And tarot, it allows me to kind of like connect to the world and like how other people see, like how humanity has understood things. That I find fascinating because I can relate it to my own experiences, sometimes in weird ways. I feel like we're connected, humans were connected through so many more ways than we expect. And I guess that's the really Jungian thing, where there's like a collective consciousness that you can access when you look at other people's art. And to me, that is the kind of the freaky thing about tarot. Okay, it's in my experience, when I pull cards and I'm like, whoa, it's so crazy that it relates perfectly to my situation. I don't believe that there's like this entity that is controlling my cards. Not because that's like not possible, but because I think I have agency, and I am not like allowing that to happen because it's not the path I am on. I think that when something feels eerie with tarot, to me it feels like the magic of the collective consciousness through art. I hope this is like the first time I'm expressing it, so it might not make sense. Hopefully with time, I will maybe be able to better explain it. But yeah, actually let's get putting stuff on the shelf. Yeah, so I don't hold fear about tarot in that way. But it hasn't always been this this clear, because you don't just like shake off the fear mongering, okay? Just like that. You don't. It's a process, and sometimes even if you know what you're doing and you do have like a personal conviction, it's like, okay, what if I'm doing something that's wrong? Like, what if I'm not supposed to do this? What if I'm not understanding it right? And every once in a while, like, this will come up, at the back of my mind. And how I deal with that is kind of just reminding myself of my intention, because something that the fearmongers they never bring that up. And I'm talking about my own religious background. The fearmongers, they never bring up the fact and how important in Islam intention is. Intention is everything. It's literally everything. And what do I aim to do with this? Well, what I aim to do does not conflict. It does not conflict with my convictions. And I believe in God, and God knows that. So I should be fine. I guess, yeah, that's how I like connecting to my intention and my conviction. That helps like release the fear that doesn't belong to me. And I don't think it's fair that I should be, afraid or uncomfortable with something that literally brings me so much joy, that helps me in so many aspects of my life, including with my religion. So how is it so bad, I love that I'm just talking about fear and I'm just hiding my decks at the same time. It's just the type of life I lead. Okay, so to come back to the organization, I think I still want to keep my pouched decks. I still want to keep them in this box, because I don't have enough of these big books to cover the whole thing. And I like the idea of just being able to carry, like, first of all, I love this tiny box. It's the Flabelou, my Flabelous. Some of the best shoes I've ever bought. But yes, I think I like the idea of being able to kind of just carry these around. Yeah, and then it still looks, nice, and like in the same place, but inconspicuous. Oh yes, I don't want to forget. Oof. I still have like my Ritual Tarot and Tarot d'Incarnation. I'm not going to store them right now because I'm using them all the time, like together, but they would just be in their boxes and like along the wall here. Man, these two together right now, they're just like a powerhouse. Oh yeah, it reminds me of another thing I want to talk about. So I say that I don't really see my decks as like being related to like entities, or like being controlled or like influenced by outside entities. And I do realize that sometimes I talk about my decks like they do, have a whole personality. And I kind of want to clarify, because to me it's undeniable that decks have a personality. They have a tone, they have a whole energy, they have a perspective. And even though sometimes I'm like I like personify a deck, I do not personally see it as being a vessel for any entity. But it doesn't stop me from speaking about it like it's a character. I don't know, like it has a whole personality. So these things do not have to be one and the same. And I guess that's one thing that sometimes I'm like, wait, if I personify my decks, does it mean I'm engaging with some kind of entity? No, not if you don't want to. Not if you don't want to. I really believe in agency. I believe in your agency and your ability to do whatever you want. You know, we drink tea. It doesn't mean that we're trying to do, what is it called? Teomancy? I don't know. Like, we're not trying to read leaves. We play with cards and we don't put any other meaning on that. Tarot technically used to be a game, okay? It has always been intentional, whether you put any more meaning upon it or if you do not, okay? It has always been the case. There's so many things, there's so many examples. So you're in my house, for some reason you're looking in my cupboard. Don't. You open this up. Oh, nice books. What you don't know is that behind these books are some magical decks. Yes, yes. And then on the other side, we have, you know, an inconspicuous box. I think I'm gonna keep working on that side, but for now, it's okay. And then it's like easily accessible. All right. So thank you so much for being with me during this process. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.